Well, hello everybody. As you can no doubt tell by some of the equipment and machinery behind me, this video is going to be a bit of a departure from my ordinary gardening videos and cooking videos, etc. I'll explain further as we go on here. It's going to be a bit of a documentary, I guess. Not quite sure how long it will be. I'm just starting to film it now, but it's going to film it over the next few weeks, a little bit at a time. I'd like to apologize off the bat for the wind noise. Even though I'm using this remote microphone with a windsock, I'm still getting wind noise. Not as bad as I guess it would be without it, but I don't know. So we're getting into our windy season, fall and winter here, so we have lots of wind, so I don't seem to be able to eliminate the wind noise. Anyway, I hope you enjoy what follows. It's, as I said, quite a bit different than I normally do. It's September 7th as I'm starting this collection of clips here. And this is a shot down the road. I'm standing at one edge, one of the borders of the edges of my property. And my property goes the entire length of the road out there to the edge of another house. I'll show you that in a few minutes. I'm doing this to show you the distance from a gravel pit rock quarry, which actually abuts onto the far edge of my property. And I want to take you out and show you a project that's underway here. They're blasting in the quarry and setting up rock crushers to crush more crushed rock for the roads, and they're also setting up a mobile asphalt plant because they plan to start paving here very soon. So I can hear it from my house, but I wanted to give you an idea of how far away. This is my next door neighbor on the same side of the road as my house. Going out towards this gravel pit rock quarry that I'm on my way out to. Hope the wind isn't too bad. I'm using a remote microphone, but it has a windsock on it, but it's still quite breezy today. They have cleared their property basically to the edge of mine, so the trees that you see on that side of their house and down behind their house are right up to my property line basically. And my property continues until roughly right there in front of me. And then it goes down through the forest and backs onto all of the houses that are on another street, another road down in through there. Altogether I have 8.5 acres. It's not a tremendous amount of land, but for this area it's quite a large holding on a small island here. And from the right over here is a property owned by the man who owns the rock quarry and a gravel pit that I'm about to take you out to. So my property does abut onto the edge of that. Thankfully he has never come this far close. He's quite a distance the other side with his works, and the sand pit itself seems to be pretty much worked out. They've gone as deep as they can go with it, but they are still occasionally working in the two rock quarries, blasting, and have companies in here doing crushing. I'll give you a look at the equipment that's been set up. Some of the equipment that they're starting to set up, I'm going to go over and give you a closer look at it. You see those large mounds of crushed stone? That was done last year by a different company. We have two different kinds of paving here on the island. The main road, Highway 774, is asphalt, and that's what these people are going to be preparing and paving. And the other side roads and streets are chip seal, and that's what all that stone is for. It's going to be chip sealed next summer. The asphalt's going to be done this fall. In the provincial budget this spring, the line item for this particular contract is spread over 2 years, and it's $8 million. I didn't mention how much they might have spent last year. Different company that did blasting and crushed all of that mounds of stone there. So I suspect when you put the 3 years together for the project, you're probably getting close to 10 million. And since it's a provincial government project, it'll no doubt go over budget. They all do. This is the same area where, if you have seen my previous videos on the pond is over here, surrounded by those trees. So give you an idea of where we are. I'm probably at least half a kilometer from my driveway, maybe a bit more. But that doesn't make any difference. I still hear them grinding away out here. Short-term pain for long-term gain, because the roads here haven't been redone in 30 years, the asphalt road that is. So it mostly consists of ruts and patches right now. It'd be wonderful to have a nice smooth highway sometime later this fall. I guess that's the beginnings of the asphalt plant being set up. Very high. The top of that thing must be, I don't know, 3 or 4 stories high if you were talking about the building. And there's various other pieces of it sitting here that haven't yet been taken out and connected to it. And further out beyond there you can see the giant rock crusher, which I'll now take you out for a closer look at. Well, I guess I arrived at lunchtime. It's nice and quiet. All the machinery is shut down. The workers have all gathered around a truck there having their lunch. It's a construction company from northern New Brunswick, I think. Anyway, it's called Northern Crushing and Paving. And so far all of the people that I've met are French-speaking people from the north of the province, Acadians from northern New Brunswick. That is an enormous crusher. Try to get around and show you the other side of it. There were 3 crushers out here last year when the other company was working, and I don't know, this seems to be just one huge plant that's going to do the whole thing this year, I guess. It looks pretty new as well. There's no rust on it or anything. You can see where it's been used before, but I don't think it's very old equipment. Obviously cost lots of money. I'll just pause now and then show you this from a different angle. Complicated for me to understand how it works, but there it is. I wasn't home the other day. A couple of days ago they did blasting, and that's the result there. They have been drilling out here for a week or more. This is September the 11th. As you can see, lots more pieces have been added to the asphalt plant. I wouldn't have a clue what any of it does, but it'll be interesting to see it when it gets in full production. And out back there, I'm going to try to get over closer, but I don't want to get in anybody's way here. The crusher is working. Yeah, it's noisy, but up where I live, you have to really make an effort to hear it, I guess. It isn't that annoying. Talking to one of the young men that work on it the other day, and he said that they're going to try to keep it wet to keep the dust down. And I said, the ones that worked here last year, I didn't think there was a great deal of dust, but what they're doing here this time is crushing stone much finer than what was done last year. It was for different jobs, I guess, but this one is to be made into asphalt. And it does produce dust, but it isn't that bad. I don't see it bothering me way over where I live. I guess you can probably see the stone coming out the end, making that pile there. Surprised there isn't any more vibration than there is. I'm sure for the guys over there working on it, they feel a vibration, but I don't have any idea how that works. There's conveyor belts going in all directions. I don't know if it gets crushed into one grade in one area and then conveyed off to another area where it's crushed up finer again or not. There's 2 piles being created there simultaneously anyway, and all the machinery is hooked together. Just one look at the asphalt plant here from a different angle. And I will come back in a few days and see how much stone they've got piled up. Standing between 2 different kinds of crushed stone. Large areas of it. I don't know if the camera will show the difference or not. That is still very small stones, and there's a large area of it. I'm just standing down below the pile of it, but it goes on for a long distance. And then next to it, there's this sort of alleyway that I'm standing in, and then there's this stuff over here, which is a different aggregate again. It's about half the size of the other pile. So I don't understand what's required when you make asphalt, but evidently you need at least 2 different sizes of stone. Just a little view from high up here of the amount of gravel that's been crushed so far. There are 4 of these large loaders, 3 that are parked here in this one area and another one that's further away. I'm about 5'10", used to be 5'10 and a half. I haven't measured myself in years. They say when you get older you shrink. I'm roughly 5'10". The tires are taller than me, so I think the tires are a little over 6 feet tall. Give you an idea of the size of the things. And this is the area that they've excavated so far. I don't know how to tell you how deep that is because I'm not sure. I'm sure it's 5-6 meters deep anyway, maybe deeper. And I don't know if they can still dig down deeper. I don't know how deep they blasted, but I'll go up on top here and give you another view of it and what's behind it that they can still bring out of there. Mountains. Here we go with the wind again. I'm up on top of this pit looking down into it. And then pan over here. That goes back quite a ways, so they've got a lot of material that they can work with yet. I'll show you what's over behind me here. I guess that's all stone that was too big to crush. So they're building almost a stone wall with it. It carries on behind those trees for quite a ways, so there's a lot of tonnage of stone there. I don't know if there's anything that they can do to break that up smaller so that they can eventually use it, or anyway, it's off to one side, I'm sure, to be used for something at some point in the future. Well, my knowledge of how this works is absolutely nil, other than what you're seeing there to the far left is where the large stones go in. And they go around through all of these different conveyor systems here and crushers and come out into 2 different piles, which I guess is the 2 different aggregates. That's one of them. The other one you can't see from here. It's over the other side, one of the other conveyor belts. It's a large piece of equipment. Somebody has been very busy since I was out here last. Those 2 relatively small piles have turned into 2 mountains. And they're just starting a 3rd one here. And whatever this material is, it's as black as coal. Looks like they've brought in another crusher, and it's crushing some of the material that was crushed last year, only it's making it a much finer aggregate, which I guess is what explains the difference in the color, because last year's stone came from a different area. Well, it would appear to me, not that I know anything, but that they have probably finished crushing and are preparing to make asphalt. This is Saturday, the 28th of September. There must be somebody around here somewhere. I don't see anybody, but that's the asphalt plant, and it's humming away. I don't know what for. Maybe it has to warm up whatever's in that tank or something. Just give you a look around at all of the crushed stone, whatever here. Mountains of it. I hope that come Monday we're going to see paving start. I don't know if I can be heard above the noise or not. This is October 2nd, and I guess paving has begun. The asphalt plant there, you can see the steam or smoke or whatever it is that's coming out of it is in production. And out behind, they're still doing some crushing, so I guess they still haven't crushed all the product that they need. No idea how any of it works, so I'm not going to expound upon it. October 3rd. Paving started yesterday. I'm out for my walk. I do a 10K walk on this road 2 or 3 times a week, or try to anyway. I drove over this earlier today, and it is as smooth as glass. It's wonderful to have a nice black smooth road. I'll take a little footage when I get up to the part where they are still paving. Almost looks like a map of the United States. An area I guess they'll have to come back and fix up later. I'm not sure, maybe they even put 2 layers on. I just stopped and asked some of the men that are working on it, and this is just a base layer, and once they've done that they put a final layer on top, so it will be much thicker than what I'm seeing here today. If you have watched this through from the beginning, thank you for watching. It's now October the 7th, and the section of highway that I'm driving on now is the same section that I walked the other day. It's now got its 2nd coat of pavement. It's as smooth as glass. Such a treat. You couldn't appreciate it unless you've been here for the last few years and driven over the ruts and patches that we've been driving on. Anyway, they're still paving, and they'll be paving for several weeks, but I think I've told my little story of how it began and how it's going to end. So thank you very much for watching.